from Oklahoma City. It's the North American Six-Horse Hitch Championship. Brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. Now, here's your hosts, Pam Menick and Katie Kaufman.
In the show barns, the final preparations are being made. The crowd is starting to fill in, and it will be standing room only. We're at the Oklahoma State Fair for another exciting final go-round of the North American Six-Horse Hitch Classic Series Finals.
For the past year, nearly 100 six-horse hitches traveled the U.S. and Canada to shows big and small, accumulating points to compete here at the finals. This is the best of the best in 3 breed categories: Belgians, Percherons, and Clydesdale Shires. And it takes a dedicated team to be one of the elite.
It certainly does. And joining us this year is Jimmy Perio. First of all, welcome. We are looking forward to your expert commentary. Now, you've shown a successful hitch. The horses here did not just get here this week or even this year.
No, it takes years of preparation to get hitches to this level of competitiveness.
3 judges this year, a new wrinkle in the six-horse hitch finals. What are they looking for?
They look at how the horses perform, their animation, how high they pick their feet up, how well they set their heads, how each team works together. And then when we stop, we look at conformation. Are these horses, are they halter horses? Will they have good feet, cleanliness of their legs, cleanliness of their hocks, and then just overall turnout of the outfit.
Well, 2 go-rounds are behind us, and the hitches will be looking at a flawless performance in this final round. Now, Ross Hansberger of All Star Farms won the first 2 go-rounds. What was it that made this hitch stand out?
In the first performance, Ross, I just really liked the front ends on those horses. They had really good long necks. They arched their necks really well. They brought their noses in. They held their heads high, and lots of action, lots of front knee motion, and the teams really worked well together. And it was just a really great performance. And on round 2, it was just as spectacular, just as much power, maybe a little more speed, but he really looked good, and they just had a great performance on round 2 as well.
The competition was tight in both of these first 2 go-rounds.
And it's been a long season that just ended 2 weeks ago.
You know, a lot of the hitches told us that they wanted to have something left in the tank. Let's take a look at the first go-round results.
In first place for the first go-round, All Star Farms Percheron. Second, Hammersmith Belgians. Third place, Blue Ribbon Days. And fourth place wound up to Double S Belgians.
And in the second go-round, All Star Farms again, Smart Cabinetry Belgians, Hammersmith Belgians, and Double S Belgians in fourth place. We had a chance to talk to Ross after each go-round.
When you win 2 rounds, things are going well. You know, your horses are driving well, and that's the main thing. That's what you always hope for, is just to have a good drive. You can't control the rest of the variables involved with it, so you just drive your horses and hope that for the best. Same horses, same lineup, just a little tweaking there. You know, you watch the video and see the little things that you can change and fix, and know that everybody is A, gunning for you, and B, going to be better. You know, the more they get in the ring, everybody's horses settle in, know the ring better, and drive better. So you know you got to bring even more.
Pretty impressive that he's won 2 go-rounds, and as the defending champion, that was a lot of pressure coming into this finals.
The finals features the top 4 hitches in 3 breed categories. Let's meet them, beginning with the Belgians.
Hammersmith Belgians is from Defiance, Ohio. It's owned by Craig and Chris Hammersmith and driven by Jason Hansberger.
Powerful set of Belgians Jason brings to the finals year after year. Next up, Willow Creek Belgians. Owners are Matt and Sue Frieden and their family, and the driver, Gary Miller.
Always got a smile on his face. This is a great group of mares. Next up, Smart Cabinetry Belgians, owned by Marlon Miller, driven by Bud Miller.
And rounding out the Belgians, the Double S Belgians, from all the way from Idaho, owners Bryce Smith and family, driver Kyle Forsyth, and these horses are pretty familiar to Kyle.
They certainly are. Now let's meet the Percherons, beginning with Blue Ribbon Days. A big group of owners this year: Albert and Karen Clevey, Jim and Peggy Day and family, and Stefan Detmer from Germany, and of course the driver, Dean Woodbury.
Dean and his son Cody always up on the box together, putting on quite a show. Next up, Young Living Percherons, the owner, Young Living Essential Oils, and a new driver this season. Tim Sparrow has been doing an incredible job with this team.
He certainly has. Next up, Zubrodd Percherons from just up the road in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and this is definitely a family operation. Owner, driver, trainer, Chad Zubrodd, of course with a lot of help from the family.
Next up, All-Star Percherons from Bellevue, Michigan and Wayne, Ohio. The owners, the families of Doyle Dingman and Nick Wagner, and of course the driver, Ross Hansberger.
And he's taken home a lot of blue ribbons so far. And now let's take a look at the Clydesdale Shires.
This has been a neck-and-neck competition all the way to getting here to the 6-horse finals. First up, High Point Clydesdales, owners Brett and Annette Fielding, driver Freeman Yoder.
They were the High Point Clydesdale Hitch, how appropriate. And representing the Shires, Dakota Thunder Shires, the owner Houston Haugo and the driver Joe Beeran. He tells us Shires are hard to find.
Next up, we have Hunting Creek Farms Clydesdales from Hamptonville, North Carolina. Owner Jason Hunter and driver Chip Lawrence.
And the hometown favorite, Express Clydesdales, from right up the road in Yukon, Oklahoma. Of course, the owner, Bob Funk, a big supporter of this show. And driver, one of our favorites, Josh Minchell.
Always does such a great job balancing this and the show itself. They've put on quite a performance.
He wears many hats, competitor, show organizer, and the qualifiers appreciate the hospitality and the prize money. Here's Kyle Forsyth.
Every year we say, that the competition this year is as good as it's ever been. This year is a whole new level. I mean, Express and Bob have done a tremendous, Josh and Laura, fundraising. They've got a lot of money up here at the finals. It's a first-class event, and people are wanting to get here.
This is kind of Bob's baby. He loves this show. He loves to see the hitches excited about coming and competing through the year to get here, but he loves the spectacle of having those top 12 hitches in the ring, competing along with the orchestra. But it's just a really nice excitement for him to have him on his home turf, have all these hitches from around the country and even Canada to come down and compete in Oklahoma. It's exciting.
This has really been exciting since it's been in Oklahoma City because it's grown immensely. And of course there's a lot of competition now to make this show because they really enjoy being here in the month of September. And so we're excited about it too. We raised the prize money. It's a $100,000 invitational, and so the top 4 of each breed are here, and they get an opportunity to maybe take a little cash home as well as the World Championship. Oklahoma is known for its hospitality, and we want to do the very best we can to treat them as if they were champions, because they are all champions when they come here.
We'll be back with heat number 1 of the North American 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals. Stay right here.
Welcome back to the North American 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals. Now they're coming into the arena with heat number 1.
That is a live orchestra that Bob Funk has wanted at this show for the last couple years, and it is so impressive.
Here's our first entry in heat number 1 from right up the road in Guthrie, Oklahoma, Dr. Chad Zubrodd with his wife Melissa. as the assistant.
And ladies and gentlemen, our first entry in is the Zubrock Percherons. They make their home just up the road in Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Next into the arena, Double S Belgians driver Kyle Forsyth.
And that's Sean Smith as the assistant. Of course, the Smith family is the owner of this hitch now.
We're going to take you to the state of Idaho. It's the Double S Belgians, owned by Bryce Smith and family, driven by Mr. Kyle Forsyth, sponsored by...
Here come the beautiful mares of the Blue Ribbon Day Percherons. Dean Woodbury at the lines with his daughter Allie next to him, and I can promise the Blue Ribbon Days girls always put on a show here at the finals.
They do, and past champions at this event.
They're sponsored by Rick Jones.
And Hunting Creek Clydesdales from North Carolina. Those are the 4 hitches in this heat. Chad Zubrod talks about this family operation.
Realistically, when you look around this year, we're probably the only hitch that's a single family that does this, and owner, driver, trainer sitting out there. You know, the kids go to school, but you know, at the same time they come home and their job's cleaning stalls while we're out driving. And my wife and I drive horses at home, and she's my assistant driver here and braider, so you know, it's very tight that way.
We saw Kyle Forsyth here the past few years with many of these same Belgians driving for the late Ted English.
Marcia and I have been very fortunate. We went from a good family in the English family and transitioned right into another great family in the Smith family.
We like the competition level within the association and the draft horse industry. The people that are part of the draft horse industry are second to none.
The Blue Ribbon Days mares have been spectacular this year, but recently a few got a respiratory infection.
We didn't come into the finals here 100%, but we still made the finals, and we actually set a record for the most points to ever be collected for a hitch to qualify for the finals.
They certainly have been putting on a good show, even though they have had a little infection.
And you can always count, Pam, on all 3 of these families taking great care of their horses.
It was even a fight to qualify in the Clydesdale breed.
It's quite an honor to be included in the top 12 here. So it's a very prestigious deal for us to be here, and Jason, the owner of the horses, wanted to be here since Bob Funk is putting on a show, and the supper and all the things he's done to help promote the show, and the industry is great. So it's a great honor to be here, and to promote the Clydesdale horse and to compete with these guys is quite an honor as well.
Chip came a long way, and oh, that lead horse is really acting up there. As Blue Ribbon comes around, Allie and Dean are looking over there. Chip's pulled up and will exit the arena.
Very unfortunate for Hunting Creek. There's a lot of work that goes involved getting here, and to have some problem like that and have to leave the ring.
As Chip has left, the heat gets back underway. Dr. Chad Zubrod, as you can see, getting his mares in tow.
Very impressive group of mares, a lot of style. Double S seem to be having a really good go in this heat. Teams are working really well together.
And Blue Ribbon Days Percherons.
The judge watches. The judge really likes to see how high the horses pick their feet up, how well each team work together, how well they keep their heads together, how their heads are set.
And these horses' heads are set well. Look at all of them.
And you can always count on those Belgians bringing the power.
Overall, it was a very tough heat.
It certainly was a very tough heat.
When these hitches line up, the judges walk around the hitches, and this is something the crowd doesn't always understand and get to see, but they're looking at the quality of the horses, how big their feet are, how clean their legs are, how well they're matched.
Great point, Jimmy. And you being a judge many times have a great perspective on what these 3 judges are going through at the finals.
And as they're checking each hitch, we see the local sponsor signage on the back of each wagon. Josh Mitchell and his team appreciate the support of this Oklahoma City community.
We have a good group of loyal sponsors that have been with us for a long time, but every year we have a couple new sponsors, and it's fun to see the excitement on their faces when they get out there and up close and even riding on the wagons each night.
Dr. Harry Anderson of Total Feeds has been a generous sponsor for several years.
And he says it's paying off.
When people come up to me at the shows, and one of the reasons I like to go to shows is I have people come to me and say, I got to tell you my story. I have to want to tell you about how you have changed my horse or my horses or several things, but how their horses changed so much in performance and looks and muscling and everything when they go on Total Equine. And that's where I learn what my program is doing. They're my teachers, really. I depend on them for all of my so-called research that people ask me about. When people ask me about research, I say, my clients do my research for me. They tell me how things are working. If I change some little thing and things get better, that means I've done my research. So yeah, I love to go to shows and just hear people tell me about my program.
The wagons are lining up as we approach heat number 2. Stay right here. Gentle Giants will be right back.
Welcome back to the North American 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals from Oklahoma City. This is heat number 2. The next 4 hitches will enter the arena.
And first up, we have All-Star Percherons with Ross Hansberger at the lines. And as many of you know, he's put on quite a show so far.
His wife, Nicole, always up on the box. He credits her and says she knows as much or more about each horse's personality than he does.
And next to the rings, Bud Miller at the lines of Smart Cabinetry Belgians.
This is exciting. Brett Fielding and High Point Clydesdales. Of course, Freeman Yoder is their driver, but Brett and Annette are the owners, and they are so excited. This is their first finals.
And last in the ring, we have Joe Beeren at the lines of Dakota Thunder Shires.
Rounding out heat number 2 is the Dakota Thunder Shires. Joining us from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Mr. Joe Beeren on the line, sponsored by Express.
This All-Star Farms hitch has been so consistent here, and Ross Hansberger tells us why.
We were fortunate to have the same 6 horses we drove last year, the same 6 mares, which is a lot of times unheard of to keep the same 6 going and perform at this level. So we're very excited about that.
And driver Bud Miller is also looking for another consistent performance.
I think the mares drove pretty good so far. Definitely on edge going into it tonight, but they were a little hard to control the first night, and we still hung in there pretty good. Last night we moved up 2 spots and it's looking better, and hope to go in there tonight and do the same thing I did last night.
Bud always appears to be so even keel.
Yeah, not a lot rattles Bud, I can tell you that.
Here is High Point Clydesdale's Freeman Yoder at the lines, and he gets a lot out of these Clydes.
It's important to the industry to have new people in it, like this family. Them and their 3 sons, that can bring a lot to the future. We need that. That's very important.
As I mentioned, this is the first finals for High Point Clydes, and Brett and Annette Fielding are new owners.
So when our family got into this sport, what we as parents love the most is all of a sudden we become a family with chores that is out at the barn, especially in the summer, more than in the house.
As many of these drivers will say, it's been a long show season, but when they get to the finals, they still need enough left in the tank to get through all 3 heats.
You get to the playoffs and you have to have something left in the tank, and that's what we try to do this year. I really like Ace, our right lead horse. He's got the right temperament. He's kind of a ball of fire sometimes to deal with, but he sure likes his job, and he's always a really proud horse.
He really loves that horse. He says he's a ball of fire. That's great. And you know, the Clydesdales and Shires, as we talk about often at the 6-horse hitch finals, don't have the action of the Percherons, so they sometimes get overlooked in the placings, but they are amazing horses. Let's take a look at All Star Farms.
Not only the lead team, but the swing and wheel teams are all moving really well.
And that's what makes them so consistent. All these horses are moving in sync.
As you can see, all of them are making their reverses now, and this is really their moment to shine and show control of their hitch in front of the judges.
A lot of action. They really picked their feet up high. Really powerful group of Belgian mares.
There you see Freeman Yoder gathering up the lines of High Point Clydesdales.
Very stylish group of Clydesdale horses.
They are stylish, and he gets a lot out of these Clydesdales.
Dakota Thunder, you gotta like the lead team. They really move well. All Stars having a really good go. They're just a phenomenal performance.
And the Smart Cabinetry Belgians look good too.
Starting with All Star Farms Percherons, they will line up as this heat number 2 is coming to a close. And Pam, as we saw Dakota Thunder as well as High Point Clydesdales, you know, it's pretty challenging to go into a heat with a great Percheron team as well as a great Belgian team.
And you know, Dakota Thunder actually stopped short there. I don't know if they'll be docked for that, but the judge wanted to see them go around one more time. So, bringing up the rear in this heat is Freeman Yoder with Brett Fielding as his assistant. Boy, that was a great heat as well, heat number 2.
And look at the crowd. Wonderful that we have had so many people come to the 6-horse hitch Classic Series finals.
We got the Shires, the Percherons, the Clydesdales, and the Belgians.
Ross backing his hitch up.
And then just the overall turnout of the hitch, how they look together. At this level of competition, it's important not only have horses that perform well, but also horses that are sound and have the confirmation to be sound for a long period of time.
Two heats down, Pam, and only one more heat to go. And as you can imagine, I'm sure we're going to have a drive-off.
Oh, you can bet we'll have a drive-off when the championship is on the line. Those powerful Belgians with Bud Miller and Smart Cabinetry. And, of course, the Clydesdales, Brett Fielding's High Point Clydes with Freeman Yoder at the lines. The drivers from Heat 3 are waiting in the wings. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to the North American 6-horse hitch Classic Series World Finals. Here we are with heat number 3. I have to say, heat number 1 and 2 have been very tough.
Of course, 12 hitches qualify for the finals. We've seen 8. This is the last 4. It begins with Hammersmith Belgians, Jason Hansberger at the lines. Scott Love is the assistant.
We have Willow Creek Belgians, driver Gary Miller. Up on the box assisting him, Jordan Frieden.
Of course, the Frieden family are the owners of Willow Creek Belgians. Next up, Tim Sparrow driving for Young Living Essential Oils, Young Living Percherons. That's Ivan Hiskey, the assistant.
Brings us the Young Living Essential Oils Percherons, driven by Mr. Tim.
And last, those hometown favorites, the Express Clydesdales with driver Josh Minchell at the lines, assisted by Lauren Mass.
Listen to that crowd go crazy when they come in.
From right down the road in Yukon, Oklahoma, say hello to Mr. Josh Minchell.
They really are ambassadors here in Oklahoma.
Well, drivers, the gate is closed. You can show your 6s on the rail at a trot, please.
Hammersmith Belgians has had a great showing so far at the finals.
We've been excited on how they've performed up to this point. We're knocking on the door. We're going to have to save our best. Hopefully our best is for the last performance tonight, and hopefully we can bring home that blue.
It's really been a shootout between Jason and Ross Hansberger here at the finals. Gary Miller's had a good finals, but he's making some changes in the position of the horses.
We had a really good drive last night. She's a phenomenal lead mare. If she can keep her marbles together, I think we'll look really good. It's kind of rolling the dice, but we need to step it up, and we think tonight's the night.
As you know, Pam, Young Living Percherons have made it to the finals here before, but driver Tim Sparrow, this is a first for him at the Lions, and he's had a great show season thus far.
We started off the year really strong. We've incorporated some young horses into the hitch, and they just keep getting better. The more we use them, the better, more confident they get. And I feel like, yes, we're ascending and they're peaking at the right time.
Josh has really stayed busy putting on this finals.
But we're really excited that the hitches are excited about coming to this event. We really feel like it's a world-class event, and it's proven that by the quality of hitches that we've received this year.
Starting the reverse is Hammersmith.
That's a really impressive Belgian gelding hitch. Gotta really like the lead team. They just carry themselves real well. Just a real stylish lead team. Very nice long necks, carrying their heads up in the air, moving very freely. Very powerful swing and wheel team behind them. Lots of motion, lots of action. Willow Creek, a lot of quality. Really well performing group of mares.
Young Living Percherons, you know, Gary Young just passed away recently, and it's been kind of bittersweet for them to make this finals without him there to cheer them on.
When the judge asks them to come down to the walk, they like to just make sure each horse is walking flat-footed. It's not something that we need them to do very long, but just bring them down, let them walk, make sure they're walking flat-footed, and then give the horses kind of a chance to catch a breath, and then we start trotting them again. Express Clydesdales. This is a really classy group of Clydesdale horses. Carry themselves really well.
Jimmy is right. This is such a classy group of Clydesdales, and I know that owner Bob Funk not only wanted to portray that, but also Josh Minchell. They're the ambassadors for Express Employment Professionals.
Hammersmith Belgians, you can see why they've placed in the first two rounds. Look at those horses picking their feet up, putting it down, all in sync.
And looking really like they could go around another lap or two.
That's what they say, have something left in the tank, and they do. And the judges notice that too, if the horses still look like they're powerful.
Here comes Tim Sparrow coming around the bend with Young Living Percherons. He's done such a great job at the finals.
Josh Minchell and Lauren Mast coming to line up, and this crowd loves heat number 3.
Oklahoma heat number 3. Give them a nice round of applause. Well, Lisa, we touched base a little bit on how great these horses are, the pure athletes.
But the panel judge, all three of them mark their cards and judge them accordingly, and they do not talk to each other. So each judge is judging one part of the ring, seeing one part of the overall class.
This is unique in that there are 3 judges at the finals.
We'll dismiss heat number 3 and welcome in Jason Goodman with Percheron Thunder, sponsored by Young Living. This is really quite a demonstration that they put on. So that means that Young Living has 2 hitches here. Their exhibition hitch that you see with Jason, and of course their show hitch, which we just saw in the arena with Tim Sparrow.
Well, and unlike the performance hitch, this hitch that Jason has at the lines, they get pretty wild.
They do, and they're allowed to run. You can see the excitement on Jason's face when he puts these horses in high gear, and they actually will make the wagon fishtail and spin out.
that sure was a lot of fun. I hear that the judges have turned in their scorecards, and Pam, there's not going to be one drive-off, there's going to be two.
Stay with us.
Oklahoma Hatters, how much did you enjoy Jason Goodman? Tip of the hat to you, Cowboy. What a great job.
Welcome back to the North American Six-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals, competing for over $100,000. This is drive-off number 1, and the hitches are coming into the ring.
You're right, Pam. First into the arena is Double S Belgians with Kyle Forsyth at the lines.
Each of these hitches are going to be doing all they can to rise to the top, and these drivers certainly make it look easy, but it's not.
Driving a hitch of this caliber, it takes a lot of work. You got to be concentrating on each horse, making sure each horse is performing, make sure that they're all working together.
Each pair of horses, from the lead to the swing to the wheel, must be working together.
Next into the arena, another set of Belgians. This time, Hammersmith Belgians with Jason Hansberger at the lines.
I can't imagine what it's like to know that your brother has won 2 go-rounds and you've been right on his heels.
It seems like each night the hitches just continue to get better. The more times they come in the ring, they just get stronger and do better. I think this is just probably the strongest night of the show so far.
Again, another group of Belgians, this time the Willow Creek Belgians with Gary Miller at the lines. Obviously, the Matt and Sue Frieden family own this great hitch. And Pam, we see this time and time again. The Belgians, they bring the power.
They certainly do. So 3 hitches of Belgians in the arena now.
This is just a really good bunch of mares. They got a lot of quality.
What's going to be the 4th hitch? It's always suspenseful.
It is the Young Living Percheron hitch, all the way from Mona, Utah, with Tim Sparrow leading the way.
And that purple is so stunning on those horses.
The Young Living Percherons, ladies and gentlemen.
The ring steward asking for a little speed. Oh, that horse broke into a lope. I guess you could say that he's still a bit frisky.
Well, I think too, especially during the drive-off, the drivers are trying to do all they can to show their horses this one last time.
The judges like to see straight down the middle of the hitch. Each horse needs to do his job and not push on another horse or lean onto another horse. Willow Creek, I think they're having the best performance of the whole show. Take a look at that front knee action.
Gary Miller is always so cool during the finals and during the drive-off. Not a lot rattles him.
Young Living has been flawless. Tim Sparrow, of course, comes from a long line of Teamsters.
Double S with coming around the reverse. Really good performance, really good headsets, really good motion on the leaders, and very powerful wheel team. Hammersmith coming around. You just gotta love this lead team. They just have tons of presence, a lot of front end action, very powerful all the way through, very powerful swing and wheel pair.
And Willow Creek Belgians.
Young Living, it's just a very steady performance, really good front ends, a lot of motion.
A lot of motion, and that's what the judges are looking for. So many variables, and all of these hitches have been so tight. I'm just glad I'm not a judge, that's for sure.
Well, and really when you get to the finals, you are looking down to the smallest detail, because as we've seen night after night, it comes down to just a point or two.
And Jimmy has pointed that out because he's been a judge. He knows all those fine details. Very impressive, Young Living. And Double S, looks like Kyle's got them in check now and pulling in for the lineup.
On any given day, any of these 12 hitches could be standing in the first place. Judges have to get down to very minute details in order to place each hitch of this caliber.
Well, that is heat number 1 of the redrive. 4 down. There's going to be 4 more in the next drive. I can't wait to see who comes in next.
It's the run of the roses.
Each year at the finals, the competition continues to get more fierce, but this year I have to say, these are the best set of hitches we've seen all at once.
And the drivers have all said that. All 12 drivers have acknowledged that this is the toughest finals that there has been. Young Living heading out, and talk about suspense. You can hear a pin drop in the audience right now.
Larry Hansberger, the ring steward, is calling for the redrive, the heat number 2, not to mention both of his sons, Jason and Ross, are competing.
First in this heat, number 2, is Bud Miller with Smart Cabinetry.
And Pam, as Bud has mentioned to us, this is a really young set of mares, and he says that he's been pretty proud of them and impressed all season long.
Philip Hirschberger is his assistant. You can always count on Philip to be right there beside Bud.
Next into the arena, no surprise, all-star Percherons with Ross Hansberger up there.
And you know, one of the things that he said to us is that he just didn't want to screw up round number 3 because we have seen it before at the finals. Anything can happen, not only in the initial drive, but we've seen problems happen in the redrive as well, so you've got to stay steady. They look pretty good.
They look really good, but I give a lot of credit to Nicole too.
Oh, they've got to be so thrilled to make the redrive. Chad and Melissa Zubrod and these Percherons, they've wanted to make a good showing here for their fans that are from right here in the Oklahoma City area.
And they certainly have, and we continue to applaud Melissa. It's taken her time to get up on the box, but she acts like a true veteran.
And no surprise, Blue Ribbon Days Percherons comes in again. Of course, we've talked about them being a former champion here, not having the finals that they wanted this year, but Dean has mentioned that a couple of them came down at the last show of the year with a respiratory infection. That certainly affects their stamina.
Mr. Dean Woodbury. The gate is closed. Drivers, show your...
What about this, Katie? All 4 hitches, all driving mares. Every hitch in this drive-off is a mare.
We love the mare power, the girl power, I should say, and these mares from Smart Cabinetry.
This group of mares is just very agile. They can really move well. They pick their feet up extremely well, not only the lead team, but the swing and wheel pair. All-Stars just having a phenomenal performance. No mistakes, keeping their heads really well all the way through from the beginning of the class all the way to the end. Holding their heads up and they're using their ears. They're looking like they enjoy what they're doing. These hitches work years putting these horses together, getting them driving right, getting them going. And the hitch is never satisfied. They're always looking to replace maybe that one horse that would just be their weak link and just try and get a little bit better. And that's where each hitch, that's how competitive this industry is. Blue Ribbon Days is having a really good go, just really steady, not a mistake at all, just performing really well.
Smart Cabinetry is making the reverse, and all of the assistants up on the boxes, especially during the redrive, they are paying close attention to where those judges are, Pam.
And with 3 judges, one of them is actually out of the arena during the driving.
These drivers work really hard to get this done, and they make it look easy.
The drivers do make it look easy. We have actually held 6 lines before. The lines alone weigh 60 or 70 pounds.
Zubrod Percherons also having a really good go. This bunch of mares are very impressive.
Zubrods have raised many of their own mares, and they take great pride in that.
At this level of competition, just any little error will move a hitch down because it's just so tough and so competitive.
Yes, it certainly is competitive, and nobody wants to make a mistake, Jimmy.
As Bud comes around the corner, he will line up as they have completed the second redrive of this competition.
And they've got to leave some room because they're going to have all 12 hitches coming back into the arena.
And if you haven't seen that before, make sure you don't leave your seats because this is going to be a wow moment.
We'll get all the hitches into the ring. The judges will tabulate the scores, and we'll be back to crown this year's North American 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series champion right after this.
Express Employment Professionals, Mr. Bob Plunk and his crew. Also to
Welcome back to the North American 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series Finals. This is the moment we've been waiting for. All 12 hitches are coming into the arena for the lineup, and we'll find out who the winner is. There's Express Clydesdales, and here's Hunting Creek.
It was very admirable for Hunting Creek to come back in for their placings after they fixed their mishap they had that forced them to exit their heat. This is just shows a lot of sportsmanship.
Sportsmanship is the name of the game in this business.
The camaraderie among not only the drivers, but the hitches and everyone that helps them. If they don't have a piece of equipment, they loan it to a competing hitch.
That's true, and a lot of people say they stay in this industry because of the people.
It really is like a family.
Here they are, all 12 hitches in the arena and a standing ovation.
And they certainly deserve that. It was a wow finals.
Well, a little bit of suspense now because we're adding 3 judges for 3 days and 3 go-rounds, and
not to mention the 2 drive-offs.
That's right. Take a look at this. It is just beautiful. If you have not attended the Classic Series Finals, make plans to join us next September in Oklahoma City. And here's our placings.
Number 12, in reserve, Hunting Creek Clydesdales. And as we mentioned, they had a little trouble in go-round number 3 today, but they still came out for the lineup.
Number 11, the Shires from Dakota Thunder.
10th place, High Point Clydesdales.
In 9th place, Express Clydesdales.
It's 8th place, Zoobrod Percherons, another Oklahoma local.
In 7th place, Willow Creek Belgians.
In 6th place, Double S Belgians.
And in 5th place, the Percherons from Young Living Essential Oils.
Let's now get an up-close look at 4th place. The ribbons are ready.
They are owned by Albert and Karen Clevey.
It is Blue Ribbon Days Percherons, Dean Woodbury at the line, owned by the Clevey and Day families, and Stefan Detmer from Germany.
And as we've heard, Dean says the girls weren't at their best, but they still had an impressive showing at the finals.
Congratulations. This is a big part of the presentation. Allie, of course, holding the horses as they put the ribbons on them.
And in 3rd place, we have Smart Cabinetry, Bud Miller at the lines.
He's got to be pleased. These young mares really put on a show here in Oklahoma City.
Bud Miller is actually brothers with Gary Miller of Willow Creek, Belgium, so there's some brother competition there as well.
Like Lisa said, there's 2 brothers in the ring,
The reserve champion. 2 hitches left in the arena.
Who's it gonna be?
Hammersmith Belgians, Jason Hansberger at the lines. That's Dr. Harry Anderson of Total Feeds up aboard.
Wow, it came down to 2 brothers, Pam, for 1st and 2nd place. I'm sure that entire family is so proud.
And we saw the dad, Larry Hansberger, in the ring. Man, what a proud moment that he must be having. Dr. Anderson is so thrilled. That's what sponsors get to do here. They get to ride on a wagon. And look at the roses that they'll put on, or carnations. Red for Reserve Champion, and a check from Bob Funk and the Express Clydesdale team. And Jason gives a thumbs up as he heads out of the arena and says, "Congratulations, brother."
Your 2018 North America 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals. It goes to the All-Star Farms and the Bellevue Percherons, joining us from Bellevue, Michigan.
That was the voice of our arena announcer, Jaron Miller, who's called a lot of the competition, along with Lisa Banga Graham.
Pam, we can't say enough great things about this set of mares and all-star Percherons. They're defending back-to-back champions here at the North American 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series Finals. Whatever they're doing, they got to keep doing it.
They'll be getting the big check, a trophy from Mr. Bob Funk. That family is really thrilled.
They should be. They have two brothers, first and second place.
Bob and Janine congratulate Doyle Dingman, one of the owners of those beautiful Percherons. That's Nicole's dad.
And that is quite a trophy.
From up above of the 12 hitches in the arena, the sponsors, the supporters, Mr. Funk and Janine, they're going to get the victory lap around the Oklahoma Fairgrounds Performance Arena.
And they will be riding around in style.
And we get a chance to talk to Ross Hansberger about what an event this has been.
It's just a whirlwind, you know. We had a lot of work this summer. We hit the road hard and trying to make this thing. We barely got in it by one point, and you know, coming here, you think, you know, are you going to have good drives or are you not? And to come away having 3 great drives and pulling this off, it's just almost a miracle. They were all on, maybe not as good as the second round, but very good tonight. I had one wheel mare that when I come back in for the redrive, she was a little extra excited, and I thought, just don't screw this up now. Just keep it together for a couple more laps. But she did a good job, and they were definitely on tonight. We all have separate jobs and do our thing, and this is the one thing we come together for. It's just a big family. Not everybody's a family member, but they feel like family to us. And you know, it takes a crew to, you know, drive the truck and train the horses and, you know, make the food and do everything that goes into a show like this, and I couldn't do it without them.
Tonight might have been the best performance for most of these hitches, and that's the degree of difficulty this show is. They're just really shooting for the top, and they're each night getting better and better. Congratulations, All-Star, on back-to-back wins for the Classic Series Finals.
What an incredible finals. Unbelievable. We want to especially thank Jimmy Perio for his expert commentary throughout the finals, not to mention Mr. Bob Funk and the entire Express team. They put on quite a show.
They certainly did. And congratulations to our 6-Horse Hitch champion and to all the qualifiers in what everyone says was the toughest 6-Horse Hitch finals anywhere. This new season has already begun, and everyone is chasing points for 2019. Join us right back here next week on Gentle Giants.
And in the meantime, see what we're up to on our Facebook page.
Bye now.